Good morning, AP Physics World. This is going to be a hopefully brief video regarding some of the things that have changed with the 2020 AP Physics tests. And this applies to AP Physics 1, 2, C Mechanics, and C&M, CE&M. And I'm doing this video because last night I was on a talk with a bunch of AP Physics teachers from around the nation. And there was a lot of different things being said regarding the test and kind of what's changed about it. So we're doing another one of these videos to kind of bring everybody up to speed on what's going down. First, if you have not, and you probably haven't, this site released yesterday. The link's here. It's ap2020examdemo.collegeboard.org. And if we go and take a look at it, it'll take you to a page like this. And when you're on this page, if you type in the word practice, and I think it's all capital, maybe it's maybe it doesn't have to be, I don't know, but the way I saw it done was all caps. So practice in all caps and hit continue. As they have right here, enter the word practice, they tell you what to do. You can walk through this exam demo and basically see how the exam is going to look for you on test day. So, you know, if we start typing in stuff here, we're going to be like, it's Coach Botzer. And then you can put in your like month of birth. Let's just pick something random here. Day 15. And then 1814. And then you can enter your email address and blah, 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 blah. Let's see what they have. Let's just do the classic Trinity email. And then where are you testing from? I'm testing from home, right? No, I don't want to give anybody rights, and I agree to the terms and conditions. I just hate giving people rights. So, okay, boom. Basically, what's going to happen this year is they ask you to log on about half hour ahead of time to the test. And the reason why they're doing that is you always have those survey questions before an AP exam. You'll be sitting at a screen like this, and you'll be answering those survey questions, and there will be a timer at the bottom, time until your exam starts. You can hide this timer. Don't ever do that because you need to know how much time is left. But, you know, there's 2 minutes and then the exam will start. And there's 3 ways that we can kind of take the exam this year. One is from a desktop where we can attach a text file. One is through taking photos, like we physically write things down and then snap photos with our phone. I highly recommend against that. I'll tell you a little bit why in a second. And then you can copy and paste your response from one application to another. I would either recommend attaching a text file or copying and pasting your responses. I think those are 2 really good ways to do it. I don't trust the photos. People take different photos. You could have bad lighting. You know, you could be writing a little bit lighter. You never know if it's going to work. And if you're using an iPhone, iPhones have proprietary photo pictures. They're like HEIC files, and we don't know if they're going to be able to open those, so I wouldn't use them. But we got about a minute till the exam starts. Just a few other things before we kind of get into this and what we're looking at. It was brought up yesterday that, you know, this test is going to be online. You're going to be using either Google Chrome or a Firefox or a Safari web browser in order to take it. They recommend Chrome. And one of the things that every teacher's thinking about is, you know, cheating on this exam. Like, what if kids get together and cheat? Don't cheat on this exam. Don't start like hounding the internet and like trying to dig up materials. Apparently, they have hired some big tech companies. They won't tell us which ones because they don't want anybody to have information on it, but they've hired some tech companies to start doing like false flags, and they're going to be putting out online a bunch of wrong answers and misinformation. So it's going to be very hard to like find things from other people that is going to be correct. And they're also, it looks like they're going to be cross-referencing how people are going to be answering these questions to see who work together, and probably more so than any other year, they're going to be just saying like, no, we're rejecting your test score, we think you cheated. So that's probably going to happen more than any other year, so just please be aware of that. They are like really going ham on the anti-cheating. We don't know exactly how they're doing it, but they are going ham on it, so make sure you're not actually cheating on this exam. I know it would seem easy to do so, but they're probably going to be looking at some things that, you know, I don't even know exist. So the IT world is kind of crazy now. But here, our exam has begun. Continue. So here's what we have. Our question will be here. We'll read the question. And for the AP tests, 1, 2, and both of the C's, there's going to be 2 questions. You're going to have 30 minutes on question 1 and then 20 minutes for question number 2. 5 of those minutes, I believe, is going to be dedicated to just uploading your question. So whenever there's 5 minutes left, it is recommended that you just start dumping your answers into this setup, okay? And the way this is going to work is you're going to have kind of like all of your questions on one page. And what I would recommend doing is I would recommend opening up like a Word file or a Google Doc, although I think Word is a little bit, oops, what's going on here? I've got things everywhere. I think Word's a little bit easier to use than Google Docs. So here's a blank document. And then where was that? So you could just go in here and be like, question 1, part A, and then blah, 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 start typing away. It has been stated repeatedly, like 50 billion times, that you will not need to draw any pictures on this exam. You will not need to draw a picture. So if you're in Word and you're like, oh, I need to draw something, and you're like drawing a squiggly line or something like that, you're probably answering the question wrong. It has been hinted at that the readers may not even be looking at pictures that are drawn this year. They may be just told, like, ignore all pictures. So if you're doing an E&M question and you're like, oh, I'll draw a circuit, like here's a capacitor and here's a battery and here's the resistor, like that might not actually get you any points. You might be spending time drawing this like terribly looking circuit with your mouse, and it might not get you anything. They are really looking for you to be writing out your answers, to be providing good sentences, good paragraphs, and really what is the underlying physics of everything here. So please keep that in mind. Like, you need to talk about the ideas. You need to talk about what physics is going on and how you would apply it. You need to be writing this out. So if you haven't done any practice where you've been looking at a question and then kind of typing out what you would want to say about it or what needs to go down in that question, you need to practice that. That's a big, big skill for this test this year. But yeah, drawing is not really a thing. But notice our left screen here has kind of the question. Our right screen is having the right side of the screen is having our answer, and we just write it all down. Then what we can do is we could either paste a response or attach a response. You can do one or the other. I recommend if you are attaching a response, make sure you're saving it as a PDF, and make sure, like, a day ahead of time, where your computer is going to save things. You don't want to be digging through a giant file directory in order to find something. Know that whenever you file save as something, like, how to turn it into a PDF and where to save it. So if I was saving this as a PDF, I'd be like, file, save as, I've got all these directories here, but where do I want to put it? Maybe I'll just put it on my desktop right here. And then I'll just go like, this is file, they're asking you to like put your names and everything. So like, put a Botzer or however they want to name it. It's 0001 because it's the first picture I'm going to upload. And I'll save it as a PDF. And then it's there. And then I could, it'll pop up here. That's my file. And then I could attach it and I could go browse for that file. So I could browse for the file here. I could go into my desktop. I could be like, look, it's Botzer 000001. And it's nice to put a bunch of zeros at the start of this, so they're always at the top. You know where to find them. But, however you name things is kind of up to you. If you want to attach photos, you can, but you really won't need to. And attaching photos on the computer from your phone is kind of weird. So we just hit the 5-minute mark, and they're saying time's about to expire, and you cannot go back to a question. Once you pass a question, you can't go back. So that's what they're telling us right here. Notice at the top of all this, they've put your AP ID and then your initials. So what I really should have done here at the start of this Word doc is I should have said like, hey, here's my AP ID nonsense, and then BB. And then I can start answering. That just gives them an idea of kind of what's going down. But, attach your text files. You can see their ID number and initials up here. That's what they're asking you to include. And then, you just put everything in. So I'll just browse for a file real quick. I'll tag one in. And then if you have multiple files, you can upload 5 on each of them. Oh no, you can only attach 1 text file per exam question. Okay, so if we uploaded a text file, which is what we did, you can only add 1 text file. I think if you do photos, you can do 5 photos, if I'm correct. Yeah. You can attach 5 photos. But if you got a text file, like you could, make this a long text file if you wanted to. So here, let's just browse for that file again. There it is. Submit it. And then once you submit, you're done. Like, you cannot come back to this question. So we submit, and that's it. You won't be able to get to question 2 until the actual time, like worldwide or nationwide, I guess, triggers. Okay? So if you finish this question with 10 minutes to spare, you're not going to get to move on and like save time for the next question. It's you have this long for the first one, you have this long for the second one, and that's it. Okay? So, don't say like, I'm going to finish a question early and I'll have more time for the next one and make up points. That's not how this is going to work. You only have so much time for each of them. The other big thing that they have been stressing to us is that this year, the test questions, they're not just going to be multi-part, they're going to be like mega multi-parts. We could easily see questions that have parts from like A to H in them. And they are not expecting students to be able to answer every single part to the question. There's just too many parts to do that. The reason why they're putting in so many parts is to allow students an opportunity to show what they know regarding the physics topics. So if you're getting stuck at part C on a question, skip it. Like, there are so many parts on this where you can make up points that you can leave some parts, blank and still do well. I highly recommend that you put something everywhere, put at least some idea down of what could be going on. But there's going to be a ton of parts to this. If you're stuck somewhere, don't waste your time. Move on to the next part and come back later on, get the points where you can. And that's kind of what we've seen so far and what we know about this test coming up. So just a quick reiterate, make sure you're going to this AP 2020 exam demo.collegeboard.org to kind of practice this. The password is practice. Once you do so, make sure whatever method you're using will work. Make sure that you have a few of these AP numbers and initial documents kind of set up so that you're ready to kind of answer questions and upload them. And that you can do this. Make sure this works on whatever browser you have. Make sure you're not cheating on this test. They're going to be locking down on that like crazy this year. And make sure you're not trying to answer every single thing. If you get stuck, like, don't worry about it. Just skip it. Get the points where you can. This test is going to be very large for these 2 questions. The very last thing that I would recommend here, I was just thinking about this. What was it? Oh, maybe I'll have to type it out. I can't remember. There was something else I wanted to talk about. Nah, can't remember it. Snap. I'll think about it and I'll put it in the comments below or something. Here's what it is. It has to do with if your exam gets interrupted for some reason. If you're taking this test, and I know some of you live in areas with like really spotty internet, if you're taking the test and your exam just like kicks you out for some reason, your internet goes down, and you can't get back on in like a timely manner. Like, let's say 10 minutes pass and you're like, I couldn't get on. Half of question 2 is done. Like, there's no way I can answer this. If something like that happens, we can file for a, like the second test. It's going to be all new questions. It's going to be just as hard as the first one, if not harder, because typically they are. But if something does go wrong with your test, then don't freak out about it. We'll be able to get you the retest on that. Okay. They're being pretty lenient on that this year to an extent. It is helpful though if you've got a slow internet connection out there, and I know some of you are running off like satellite internet or DSL or some stuff like that. Try to like kick everybody off your internet for an hour, right? Like, this test is only 45 minutes long or something like that. Just tell everybody like, look, I need this internet right now. I'm taking an AP test. This could go to college credit. If your parents are working, like, just be like, I need to take an hour off, Mom. Like, early lunch today. because this is an important thing. And if you've got siblings or something like that, just have them go watch a movie in the basement, or make sure they're staying out of your hair so you can really focus. But yeah, that is about it. So if you need anything, let me know. And with that, make sure you go practice this and check this all out. With that, though, adios. Take it easy. Have a good one.